Okay, well, welcome everyone. It's Nicola Cairncross here. What I thought I'd do is go briefly through the history of email marketing from when I started in 1995, bring you up to speed on what I've used, what I think is good and bad about it, what I'm using now, and then I'll give you a quick tour of what I'm using now. When I started in 1995, when I built my first website, when I found out about the internet, I was pregnant with my daughter Phoebe, and I bought a book called HTML for the World Wide Web and built a website for our record label. And I didn't know that the internet had only been really around for a few years by then. And there certainly wasn't any such thing as email marketing going on, or there wasn't in my world anyway. What I didn't realize was that the big guys in America, the Frank Kerns of this world and the Marlon Sanders, were already figuring out how to use internet and email and building very big mailing lists indeed. But they were doing it in ways that were not quite so, let's say, reputable. They were doing spammy stuff and they were scraping email addresses from places they shouldn't have been. I didn't really get involved in any of that. And it was only really in a few years later, about 3 years later, when I came to live in Sussex and trained to become a coach. I knew I wasn't going to be a life coach, but I hadn't figured out yet then what kind of coach I wanted to be. But I very quickly, after deciding I wanted to be a coach, met a lady called Jill Fielding, and she was a wealth coach. And she really inspired me to learn about money and investing and how people think about money and why certain people have struggles with money, me being one of them in the early days. And we worked together for a while. And what we did was just before I met Jill, when I signed up for Coach University in America, you were able to sign up online. It was just the most incredibly far thinking thing. Thomas Leonard, who invented coaching, was absolutely a marketing genius online. He was an internet marketing genius, and I don't know where he got it from, but he was so good with it. And he used a tool called One Shopping Cart. And when I got started, it was able to deliver a series of messages to people when they opted in. And he was very keen on the idea of following up automatically with people so they weren't left wondering whether their transaction had gone through or whether they were getting what they were supposed to be getting. And the other thing he made very good use of was PDF documents stored online. So he had this massive course that I signed up for. I mean, it was at least $2,500, I think. And I was able to access immediately the stuff I had bought, which was such a revelation. And funnily enough, about 6 weeks later, a massive box turned up from America. And I was opening it up thinking, what is this? I mean, I'm not kidding. It was huge. It was about a meter square. And it was just so heavy. And it was full of folders and bits of paper. And it was full of all the stuff that I'd already got in a PDF document and either stored on my computer or stored printed off the things I needed and put in what's the word, lever arch files myself. And I thought, why has he sent me all this stuff? But it's because some people didn't feel they got value unless they got a physical product. But I was never one of those people. I got value from the contents, not from the great pile of lever arch files and ring binders that had come with my purchase. So that really drummed home to me that I didn't ever have to do a physical product unless I wanted to, unless I felt that it genuinely added value to what I was selling or offering. That really showed me the power of email marketing then, because I was able to start using One Shopping Cart. And I think it was about, how much was it? I don't know, 70 quid a month, 50 quid, 60 quid a month, something like that. But it was absolutely everything you needed. It was a thing where you could create products. It was a thing where you could create affiliate links. It was a thing where you could take payment. I can't remember how that happened, how that worked in those days. I think you had to hook it up to something called WorldPay. Cool, that was back in the days. Anyway, I don't want to dwell too much on this, but One Shopping Cart was really the most brilliant tool. But the thing that it enabled me to do was it enabled me to have a small 5-page website. And I wasn't marketing myself as a wealth coach then because I didn't know enough about any of it. I was just marketing myself as a coach and mentor, business mentor, I think, because I'd done a lot of businesses and I'd done a lot of marketing. So I think I was just, that was what I was branding myself as. And I was using nicolacaincross.com because I bought that in 95. I bought the name, my husband's name, my name. But what it enabled me to do is have a small 5-page website and have a sign-up box on it for my newsletter. And that went into One Shopping Cart. And that from 1998, 99 was when I started building my mailing list. And the the reason I did that was because I wanted to have a form of accountability. Because I knew that if I committed to sending out a weekly newsletter, then I would be forced to sit down every week and write up what I'd done that week to move my own business and wealth creation forward. And I'd learned that from a real world boss I'd just had called Benny Gray. And he was very hands off as a supervisor. But what he used to do was get you to write a weekly report to him. And God, woe betide you if you went home on a Friday without sending this over. You didn't see him most of the week, but then if you sent this report over, you were golden. And basically it was what went well this week, what challenges have you had, how can I help, and what you're going to do next week. And it was just so simple and basic, but I thought I'm going to do that for my newsletter. So I started writing this newsletter, and I think the first time I got my one shopping cart set up, I had about 18 people on it, I think, just business people I'd met and people I knew. I was a bit embarrassed to send it to anyone really, but I thought I'll just start doing it. One shopping cart facilitated that. And the other thing that one shopping cart had at the bottom was a really good thing. It was a bit like I can't remember which was it PayPal that had this at the bottom of every email. Anyway, one of the big tech giants had it at the bottom of every email. It was like, you're receiving this email because you did something, whether it was put your name and email in at nicolacairncross.com. If you'd like to send this on to a friend, then please do that. So you gave them permission to forward it on. And then if the friend if you've received this from a friend, click this button here. And what that did was it enabled people who'd had the thing forwarded on from their friend to click a button in the email. It was a link in those days. It wasn't even a button. And they got straight into your mailing list too. And I think everybody was double opt-in those days. I can't remember exactly, but we swiftly realized that double opt-in, you lose at least half of the people who click the button because they never actually get the email or see the email to confirm their interest. The other thing I was doing that I didn't realize was going to be very successful for me was I was archiving the newsletter. And I did that because several people emailed me and said, oh, I missed that article you put in the email about 2 weeks ago. Is there any chance you could send it to me again? And I got a bit sick of doing that because my reach had spread beyond 18 people by this point. So I think I was probably up to a couple of hundred people. So what I thought was, I wonder if I can put it on the website as a page. And then if people want to see it again, they can just, I can just point them at that page. So what I did was I had a little 5-page website. I think it had a home page, an about me page, a services page. Didn't have to have terms and conditions in those days or privacy or anything. Oh, a contact me page. And I think what I also did was on the menu, I had newsletter. And that took you to a page where you had a sign up box for the newsletter. And you also had a list of the months that had gone past. And each month then took you to 4 pages that had, I think it took you to, each month had 4 or 5 links, depending on how many weeks in the month. And so you could click through and you could see the newsletter from that week. And what I didn't realize was that it was making Google think that I had like a 300-page website or something. And that was in, as I say, 98, 99. And Google absolutely loved constantly updated relevant content in those days. So I was blogging without realizing it, and before blogging had even been invented, just by archiving the newsletter. But the other thing it was doing was Thomas Leonard had an autoresponder follow-up series for all the people who opted into his email list. And he said, I can't remember exactly how many days it was, but it went on forever anyway. So once you'd opted in, you got an email, short, sweet email every day. And the other person that was doing that was Seth Godin. And I thought, I'm going to do that. So what I did was I wrote out, I brainstormed on a mind map 10 different topics that I wish I'd known when I was about 19. And one of them was property investment, one of them was stock market, one of them was online business, and one of them was mindset. So I literally brainstormed on a mind map 10 different topics, and then 3 things in each topic. And I thought I can always add to this. So I wrote out the emails and I got them into my one shopping cart, and they were called the Financial Intelligence 101. And that was absolutely brilliant. And I became legendary in the UK sort of personal development world for this 101 series, that there was no escape. That was the joke that anyone said to me. There's no escape from your emails. But I said, we can always, unsubscribe. All you have to do is unsubscribe. They said, no, I wouldn't want to do that. And one shopping cart worked for me for years and years and years and years and years. And then as time went on, it got a little more, a lot more expensive and a lot more clunky. And, there was certain glitchy things about it because, they didn't really update the software after a while. And so I went on to Aweber at that stage, but I never really got on with Aweber. I don't know why not. I think I didn't like using the interface, but it worked. And the thing about all of these tools that I'm going to tell you is you've got to take regular backups of your data. You've got to export in the form of a CSV file your contacts, because all of these things are hosted. And if any of them stop working at any time, you've got no way to keep in contact with your contacts. And those contacts are the most precious asset in your business, because people have given you their name and email and they trust you to look after them. That's one of the most important things you've got to remember, is take regular, at least, sort of quarterly, I would say, if not monthly, downloads of your contacts. So I was able to move between these tools quite easily, because as long as you can tell them where you've got these contacts from, then they will let you upload them into the next tool. And then I discovered the amazing joy of an automated customer funnel. What do you want to happen to someone if they buy this? What do you want to happen to someone if they click this link in this email? Where do you want to send them next? What do you want to offer them next? So it was a customer journey kind of path. And the only people to offer that in those days was Infusionsoft. And this was at a stage where I was getting quite successful and the investment was worth it. But my God, the learning curve, it was unbelievably difficult. Anyway, I stuck with them for several years and I got some coaching on how to put the customer journey together. And again, it's this thing where you invest so much time in something, you're just so worried about giving it up because of all the time you've invested in it. But I'm a quick learner, and I think one of the things you've got to be ready to do if you want to make any kind of money online, even if it's with your own business that's offline anyway, and you want to take it online, is that you've got to get to grips with being a good learner and getting over the pain of being a grown-up trying to learn something. So finally, I gave up on Infusionsoft because it was just costing an absolute fortune, £200 or £300 a month, something like that, for the amount of contacts I had. And I moved to Drip. Now, Drip was a nice, simple interface, but Get Drip, I think it's called now. And it had the same kind of customer journey. It wasn't quite as sophisticated, but it was still pretty good. So that was okay for a while. And then they started to, I think they decided they were going to work with people who are in e-commerce more. So all of the new features and things were geared around people who were selling physical products via shops, online shops, or Amazon or something like that. So I moved on at that point to ActiveCampaign, who my friend Neil recommended to me. And ActiveCampaign's been absolutely amazing. I've been with them for years. I really like they've got a sort of scaled down version of the Infusionsoft customer journey. They've got as nice an interface as Drip had, and that's who I've been using ever since, until just recently. What changed? Well, I went from having a high traffic business with lots and lots of visitors to my website. Between 2006, Google and Facebook gradually shadow banned me. I don't know what it was. I think it was the money, Jim. I've never done anything up to that point to annoy anyone. But they certainly, now we know all this stuff's going on about people. They don't want people to know how money works. They don't want people to be educated. They don't mind people learning how to invest in property or the stock market, because those are heavily regulated things. But they certainly don't want anyone. They don't even mind someone becoming a better business person, because, again, they can tax that. But it was the idea of people teaching people how to become affiliate marketers and how to do that kind of thing that they couldn't track so easily. I think I've come to the conclusion that that's what the problem is. And somehow my Money Gym book, because it covered affiliate marketing, it was being tainted by that somehow, as was the website. So I just decided that as time went on and my business model changed from being a high traffic website, a high intensity of low cost products, the traffic was dwindling and there was no ways around it. No matter how much I blogged, no matter how much I changed my domain name, there was something going wrong with my search engine traffic. And first of all, I wasn't allowed to run ads. And then it got to the point where I couldn't share my domain name. I couldn't even share my email address at one point, nicolacairncross.com. And then gradually clicks and leads got got shadow banned as well. So I sort of realized just recently that if you go back and have a look, watch my video where I talk about I've been sunk cost fallacy. There's 2 videos, there's 1 and 2. And the sunk cost fallacy is when you've put so much work and effort into learning something and setting something up and doing something. It's really the kind of thing that you just can't bear to let go of. And one of my mentors, because I've got mentors, obviously, turned around and said to me, well, how much are you spending on this stuff? And he meant all my tech stack. And I said, well, it's probably about, I don't know, 300 a month, something like that. And he said, well, why? Why are you doing that? There must be a cheaper way to do it. There must be an easier way to do it. Because I had, 300, 500 blog posts on my blog, and I had all my active campaign customer journey all set up. I couldn't bear to let go of it. But then one day shortly after that, I just thought, I don't need to do all this. I really don't. My business model's changed. I'm working with higher ticket customers now. I'm doing more consultancy, and you don't really need the heavy lifting that you need when you've got 5,000, 10,000 prospects flowing through your funnel sort of every month, every year, whatever. So I decided to swap and move everything onto a really low. I mean, there's some brilliant low cost alternatives out there now, and I think I've talked about what I use in the other videos, but I haven't actually walked you through them. And somebody, I think it was Jenny Chalmers, one of my lovely YouTube viewers anyway, said that they wanted to know how to start and build an email list. And I've realized I've just talked about email lists and why they're important, which is to have regular interaction with your customers and your prospects, to have accountability for yourself, and to create content which is perceived to be of value. And I cover it in my book, Attract 3.0. That's what stops you ever having to sell. If you create regular content, either written content, audio content, or video content, if you can create regular content, then you win people over by just showing them that you know what you're talking about. And so that's why email follow-up used to be so important. But I actually realized my daughter and my son, they only ever look at their email if something they've ordered hasn't arrived. That really is it. And then I was talking to a prospect the other day who approached me by Messenger. So she was asking a question that actually I follow in all my covered in all my follow-up emails. And I said to her, not being funny or anything, but do you not read my emails? And she said, oh no, I never read email. And I thought, is an email list even important anymore? And then I realized that every time I release a video without sending it to my email list, that video struggles to get going as quickly as it would have done if I'd sent an update to my email list. So I do believe that there are lots of reasons an email list is still important. And one of the things I do whenever I get told about someone new, I'll go and look at them on social media, but then I'll go and look at their website and I'll put my name and email in to anything they've got going that I can get onto their email list, because I want to be reminded of that person. And that is the one thing that an email list does really, really well if you've got the follow-up set up, or if you send out links to content regularly, like I do with my YouTube videos. So that's why it's still important, I believe, to have an email list, but you can do it really, really easily. And I'm going to show you how I'm doing it now, show you my tech stack. The first thing you've got to think about is how are you going to drive traffic, and what are you going to drive traffic to? And the first thing I'm doing is I'm on YouTube. You're watching me on YouTube now, aren't you? So this is my YouTube channel. It's going to go slow now, typical. And there are a couple of places there's a couple of places where YouTube allows you to, let's move that out of the way. A couple of places where YouTube allows you to send people off YouTube. You want to do that as little as possible, by the way. So they're not massively keen on it. On the About page, you can put in a non-hyperlinked link. So literally, I just put that in there like that. The other place is obviously in the description of your video. So let's just go to the last one. and then scroll down to the description. Again, I'm not convinced that a lot of people actually even look at the description, but the links are there. And the other thing that it's doing, of course, is it's making links on social media back to your websites. Not something I really care about that much now, because I'm using Card. I'm not using a blog type website, but it's still, so I'm using carenext.com at the moment, just because I'm waiting for the hosting to stop on nicolacairncross.com. Can't bear for people to go to the old website, because there's lots of links around the internet linking to my old website, nicolacairncross.com, and to clicksandleads.com. I can't bear for people to go to those websites and find it not working. So until the hosting finishes in April, I'm just going with nicolacairnext.com at the moment. So that's where else you can put your links out in the description, but you don't want to have more links out than links in. So what I do is I've got a little list of videos that I link to within my channel. So I've got a few affiliate links here. I don't think I've earned a bean from any of that, but you never know what might happen when my traffic gets bigger. Yeah, always make sure the number of external links is less than the number of internal links on YouTube. That's a good tip for you there. So let's go over to as you can see, these are live links, so that's good. It means people can just click on them and off they go. So this is my one page holding page, home page, if you like. And what I've got here, I could have more stuff. All I've got is a link to the members website on Thinkific. That's what I host my training on nowadays. But here you've got, that's how you can email me. That's a link to go and find out what Clicks and Leads Academy is all about, which is the membership site I just mentioned. That one goes to a sort of semi-sales page, and that one goes to the actual login page. This is how to book yourself in for a 15-minute appointment for free to talk to me. And that takes you to my Calendly. And Calendly is an incredibly inexpensive online calendar system. And what that does is, if people speak to me for 15 minutes and we decide that they're going to go for a full 2-hour consultation, whether they take that in the full, like 2 hours in one go, or whether they take it in 2 1-hour batches, then Calendly will take the payment for that, and they will jump them to a page that says thank you, and it will also do an email follow-up with them. So I don't need to worry about the email follow-up for that. There's a link to the YouTube channel, because that's really the only one of my social media platforms I want people to go to nowadays. I will come back to this one. And then this one is the link to my book page on Amazon, and they all open in a new tab. So this is where you go to get my most up-to-date books. Oh, and some old ones as well by the looks of them. Minerals and Crystals. Bruce Cairncross, never heard of him. Not a relative I'm aware of. But coming back to this page, now I haven't worked out, I need to do something better with this, because this is the Substack icon. And this is where I now host what would be a blog if I did any writing, and my mailing list, because that's, in a very long-winded way I've taken today, this is where I host my mailing list at the moment. And the reason I do that was because I want to be able to mail people every time I put a new video up. But I want to do it as quickly and simply as possible, because doing an active campaign was a bit of a pain, but doing it on Substack is easy and effortless and fun. So I make the video, I go and make the thumbnail for the video while it's processing. I will then go straight over to Substack, and I will put up a new post as if I was going to write one. I've got my Substack set up in magazine format. You can choose. You can either have it in list format or magazine format. And let's walk you through what happens here. So when someone comes to your Substack, but they're not a member or not a member of your mailing list, let's just go to Brave Browser, see if I can show you what happens if you're not signed in. You get a link, obviously, to your own Substack, and you can have more than one blog / mailing list on a Substack account for free. The only time they charge you is when you start charging other people, because the other thing that's brilliant about Substack is it acts like a membership site as well. So you can actually have charge people, it's a bit like Patreon. They can support you by paying a monthly or annually amount of money, and I think you can go up to 3 different levels. So let's just go. See, I'm now going to Nicola Cairncross Clicks and Leads on Substack, and I'm not signed in on this browser, so it's asking me to type my email. So let me put in That's how you can put in a test email, by the way. If you've got a Gmail account, you just put in plus and then a different name, and it will treat it as if it's a different email account. Subscribe, and then I think it offers you. Okay, so if I was charging, if I had some paid levels, it would offer me a chance to choose which level I wanted to subscribe at. Say £5 a month, $50 a month. You choose, you know. But what it's doing now is it's offering you the chance to subscribe to 3 of the Substacks I subscribe to. So that's a nice little viral component there. So if you end up getting recommended to other people as they subscribe to other people's Substacks, that's a way of growing your mailing list as well. And I've realized that I haven't really gone into an awful lot of detail about how to actually grow your mailing list. So if you'd like to know more about that, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll do another video all about the different ways to actually grow your mailing list, apart from creating content online, which is really the method I'm talking about today. I'm creating videos on YouTube. You could be creating blog posts on LinkedIn or Facebook, or you could be actually blogging written blog posts on your Substack. You could be creating podcast episodes on your Substack too. So it can all be done on Substack for free until you get to the point where you want to charge your subscribers for anything. So let's just click maybe later. It's offering me the chance to spread the word that I've subscribed. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because that would make me look like an idiot. But again, that's another nice little viral thing that Substack are running. So people who subscribe to your Substack can actually recommend you to other people. And I often do that when I sign up to things. So now I've arrived at the front page of my Substack. The other thing that I get to do is I get to put little links at the top here, like little menus. So that takes you off to my main homepage. That takes you off to my Clicks and Leads Academy page. And that enables you to look at my entire archive of everything that I've done forever and ever and ever. So that's covering the basis of archiving your newsletters. If you wrote a newsletter on this instead of a blog post, that would work in exactly the same way. So it's just, I think you can see it's an absolutely fantastic tool. If you wanted to learn a bit more about how Substack came to be, there's a really good interview with the creator of Substack, whose name escapes me right now, but it's on the Joe Rogan show. So I think if you just type and then go Joe Rogan show, creator of, I think his name's Adam something. Go away. Contact. Yeah, here we go. Chris Best, not Adam anything. So if you're interested in these such things, I love people who create fantastic software. So I went and watched that show, and it was really interesting to hear all about him. You know, I just think Substack is absolutely fabulous. You can, as I say, let's go back to the other screen. You can put a new podcast episode up and it'll put it all onto Apple and all the other places for you, Spotify and all that stuff. I haven't explored this new thread yet. That's a new thing that they've just introduced. And as I say, they've just enabled it so that you can upload a video or link to a video. I tend to link to them because I want to keep them all in one place. But I'll cover that in a bit more detail in a minute. And I go to new post. And you can also use this to host your podcast as well for free, which is just unbelievable, isn't it, really? You can put videos up as well, I believe. Can I upload? Oh, you can now. See, this has only just been opened up. I could upload my videos here, or I could record live, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do it all in YouTube for now. So let's just go back to the previous page. So I would go here, new post, put in a title, put in a subtitle, click down here. This is a tricky bit when you don't know for the first time. I will enter a picture. I'll upload the thumbnail of the YouTube video and put a picture in, and picture with link. And then under the picture and link, I'll put, you know, dear blah. Literally 1 or 2 sentences. Link to watch on YouTube. Sign off. Yes. And then I will make the link obviously a live link, and I'll make the picture a live link too. And then I hit continue, and I always schedule a bit in advance, and that's because YouTube takes a bit of time to process the video and show it at its best quality. So say I think my YouTube is telling me that 9 o'clock at night is the best time to release. It sounds mad to me, but that's their time they tell me, so I'm going with it. And literally when I hit schedule here, continue, this post is for everyone because I want everyone to see it, because it's a bit like a blog, really. I want to allow comments from everyone, and I want to share it to Twitter, and I've got it set up to share to Twitter. That's a new facility. You can actually have live chats with your subscribers. Haven't done that yet. And then send via email and the Substack app. So people like me who use the Substack app would get a notification that there's a new post here on Substack, and you also get an email that shows the picture and the links embedded within the it's a really easy process to let people know that there's a new video. And I'm sort of taking a break from writing at the moment, because I did a lot of writing after Steve died, because it was very cathartic. I do like writing articles, but they're just so labor intensive compared with making a video. That's what I do. And then I'll click schedule, so it goes out literally 10 minutes after the YouTube video goes live, because I want to just make sure it has time to go live, and Substack is free and YouTube is free. And what else have I got? I've got Calendly that costs me about $17 a month. It's not very much at all. Card, who I create, let's go back to Card. So I've got 3 pages on Card, and that cost me $19 a year. I mean, I was paying, how much was I paying? I was paying about $130 a quarter for hosting. I was paying 70 to 80 quid a month for Active Campaign. I was paying an annual membership for Thrive Themes, which was what I used to build my websites. It was really mounting up, you know, it was just very, very expensive. And when it comes to taking money, so if you want to book a consultation with me, you can just go and pay via Calendly, and that's hooked up to my Stripe. Stripe is free unless you actually take a payment through it, and then they take a tiny percentage. You can also hook it up to PayPal. I'm never going to use PayPal again ever, as long as I live. The other one you can use, like a shopping cart kind of thing, is Gumroad. I haven't done it for many, many years, so I can't tell you how to do it. But I think it's very intuitive from what I remember to use. But Stripe is basically, they pay it into your bank account. I think it's within 2, 3 or 7 days, depending on how long you've been using them. And that hooks up to my Calendly. So that's covered there. And if somebody wants to, you know, become a consultancy client, then we just hook up a subscription through Stripe. It's really very easy now. And as I say, free unless you use it, which is the main thing. So I've saved myself nearly probably 500 quid a month, I would say, once it's all added up, the hosting and all that stuff. So just to let you know about YouTube, I'm still a little bit suspicious about having everything hosted in one place. So what I've done with YouTube is I've set up to transfer automatically over to Rumble. Rumble's got a automatic backup facility, so anything you post on YouTube on your channel gets hosted over on Rumble as well, which it takes a while to work its way through a back catalogue, but if you've got a back catalogue on YouTube, you can do that. And then I've got some of my videos stored on Vimeo, which are the ones that are in my training course on Thinkific, and Thinkific's about $27 a month. So really my expenses now are well under $100 a month, well under. So that's pretty much my tech stack. Yeah, Substack are acting as a blog and a list host. YouTube, Vimeo and Rumble. I could probably live without Vimeo if I wanted to now. Card is where, oh yeah, let's just show you my Clicks and Leads Academy page. And leads.academy. That's another card page, carrd.co. And literally it took under a couple of hours to set up these 3 pages. There's a thank you page as well, which is very dull. I won't bother showing you that. But this one is really nice. So it moves down here. You can embed videos in it. Next one. This is for people on mobiles, these little arrows. So I've got 3 video testimonials. Down to what's it all about. I need to change the colour of those. That's more yellow than orange, I've just noticed. So I literally transferred my huge sales page over on clicksandleads.com/academy, which is still there actually, but it just doesn't look as nice because these things grow and they become unwieldy and they become untidy after a while. And you keep, especially me, I keep putting everything in the kitchen sink on these pages. So what's included, and then it goes down to what's your investment, and that's to the people I work with on a ongoing basis through Thinkific. And Thinkific's really cool now because it's got this little sort of Facebook community area. It looks just like Facebook, but it means that all your customers can interact with each other and you in a Facebook-like environment, which everyone's used to using now. So that's really good. So, and as I say, just the other page is the thank you page. So when people join Clicks and Leads Academy, down here, they can either join and pay monthly, save 30% and pay annually, or save 10% and pay 6 months up front and the other 6 months in installments. So when that happens, you need a thank you page to jump people to. So that's why I've got a thank you page. So I hope this helps. It's a lot more than just telling you about how to set up and start and run an email list, but I think it sort of covers the history of email marketing as well as why I've made the decisions I have as we've gone along the way. So hopefully listening to me ramble on about my decision-making process will help you make the right decisions for you. And I'm not dissing any of the products I've used because I've loved each and every one of them at the time, but you've just got to choose what's best for you. And in the beginning, what's best for you is not investing too much money in your business that you can't afford. What's best for you is getting it done as quickly as possible. So you've got somewhere to send traffic and a way to generate traffic and an offer to make to your first prospects and customers. And if you'd like my help with any of that, this is the place to come, clicksandleads.academy, and that will give you everything you need to know and get support from me. I hope that helps. I'll speak to you tomorrow.